A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one sports betting vibe on the planet. Boom. Veterans Minimum, at Veterans Minimum, all things Veterans Minimum. God, we look good, man. What a great cup by Brian. Brian is learning a thing or two in there.
He is.
And
He's
after
sharp.
all this time, he's sharp. Yeah, shout out to Brian one time.
Good job, Brian.
There you go.
You know, you figure the rings might weigh his fingers down. I always wonder that about your technical directors. But Brian not only looks fashionable on the hands, but he's quick with the hands too.
Yeah.
That's good on him.
Yeah. I describe Brian to people. I'm like, yo, our tech guy is a fucking wizard.
He is.
Yeah.
He was measuring stuff literally 2 minutes before the show started. I'm imagining this is just him, like he thought about it on the drive over. I got to measure that. I got to be the best technical director on the planet. So that's what they do. That's what good technical directors do.
Shout out to Brian, man. One time for the one time.
Man.
Let's go. Let's dive into the show, though, man.
Yes.
Actually, first of all,
Wait,
let me ask you this.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on overreaction, the episode, right? What did you get any crazy feedback from what we were talking about? Was there anything that jumped out to you after recording? Because sometimes we'll finish recording and then something will cross my mind and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have said that. Anything you want to?
From this past Monday's episode,
so from the Monday show.
the fact that we didn't talk about Tyreek Hill is kind of crazy. That part, like as I was driving home, I was like, and I was speeding a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I could have what Tyreek Hill had happen right now. Did you watch the body cam footage?
I did. Yeah.
The officer was Cuban, bro. Bad look for the people. Had that been Giancarlo Stanton 4 years ago or whenever he was playing in Miami, dude, he doesn't get a ticket. He doesn't get detained. Tyreek Hill, though, I mean, that Cuban officer didn't give a shit.
Yeah, it was a nasty video, man.
Yeah.
It was the thing that really upset me the most, bro, is especially nowadays, there's such a wild divide just in general with everything. I know we said that the show is going to be a lot different this year. There's not going to be politic talks. Not that.
No, whoa.
Tyreek
got arrested.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But I will say it's just unfortunate, man, that whenever you have an incident like that or just anything, there's no, like, people can't just say, yo, that was kind of crazy that happened, right? Like there's people saying, oh no, Tyreek was out of line. It's like, bro, it's fucking excessive shit, right?
100%. And from what I understand, you don't have to have your window rolled down. Like after you could like talk through the window. I didn't know, bro. There's certain things about cops that I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know if what I'm saying is true. That's why we stay out of this shit in the first place. But it was wild.
Yeah.
It was wild.
And yo, I will say, I feel like the way he's handled it since, hats off to him. Because he easily could have just been up there and like just dumped on the cops. And he said, you know, in the future, it's something he would like to do. I don't know if that's really true.
Oh, it's not true. Nick. Nick.
I don't think that's something that he's going to entertain in the future. But I think the way he handled it in post, it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, man, it's just a sad situation. And you got to imagine, like, bro, that's Tyreek Hill. That's the face of Miami sports right now. Imagine if it wasn't Tyreek. And to see that happen, that's the thing that was really sad and unfortunate, man. But I'm glad it didn't get too crazy because it could have gotten way worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of a power trip too from your people.
Yeah, from a crazy Cuban cop, bro. A Cuban cop in Miami.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
He's probably seen some stuff too,
bro. No Cubans love America more than Cubans that are in Miami.
Yeah.
They love America.
They do.
And they do not care about American football at all. That's a fact.
Yeah, and yo, I also, last thing on that, man, I loved how he handled it during the game too. Like, you know, he scored the touchdown and then he had the celebration. It was perfect. You know, a lot of the sports books got crushed in week 1 from a anytime touchdown scorer standpoint. Like a lot of the obvious guys scored touchdowns in week 1. Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen scored. Like a lot of the guys you would expect would scored. And then if you go even back a week ago to the Thursday Night Football game, a lot of boosts on first TD score, Derrick Henry, and he scored the first touchdown. The same thing with Saquon. And it's a market that kind of saved my week 1. You know, went 2-3 against the spread. Couple of plays I felt really good about, crashed and burned. And then the ones that I was kind of hesitant on were the ones that end up covering. And it's funny how sometimes you'll go into weeks and say, bro, I love this play.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't deliver. But anytime touchdown, I went 5 of 6. The only one I missed on was Marvin Harrison Jr. And they keep showing that fucking highlight, and it's frustrating because I'm like, yo, I get it, bro. I get it. All right, we'll talk about Marvin in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to ask you that question before we started recording.
You know, when you said the obvious people scoring touchdowns week 1, you know who didn't score a touchdown week 1 that was kind of shocking? Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to score a touchdown in street clothes.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible, actually. So he ruined a lot of people's anytime touchdown parlay going into a Monday. How sick would you be going 5 legs through a 6-leg parlay? You have Christian McCaffrey, and then hours before the game, you get told he's not playing. Well, do you think you can make like a petition to see if you can get your money back?
So I think in scenarios like that, they get voided.
Okay.
I think if you don't play, but again, you know, it's something I tell a lot of people, man, and I'm constantly posting about. And there was an incident in the UFC a couple months ago that I was on the wrong side of it. And of course, you always remember it when it doesn't go in your favor. So what happened a couple months ago was Chris Weidman was fighting Bruno Silva, and he gets a 3rd round stoppage in which there was a eye poke or a low blow. I don't exactly remember what it was, but that led to the stoppage. The announcer reads the scorecard as Chris Weidman, 3rd round stoppage, TKO. Some sports books paid that out if you had Chris Weidman by finish, if you had Chris Weidman by TKO, if you had 3rd round props, they paid you out. Other sports books didn't. And there's rules you need to read with the sports books. And it's very important because, bro, no one ever reads any of the disclaimers.
Yeah, no, come on.
What do you do when you get the thing that says agree to terms and conditions? You hit the check, you scroll all the way down until it gives you the option to check it and then hit next.
Yeah.
A lot of these sports books, though, they have rules and regulations in place that say in MMA, for example, it's whatever is read in the cage is the official decision.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got overturned by the commissions to a no contest, and I ended up getting losses on my bet. I didn't even get them voided. So there are certain scenarios. There was the famous Draymond Green story where he played, I think, 30 seconds because there was like a consecutive streak or there was something going on.
Yeah.
And then he got pulled, and there was some insider information that people knew this was going to happen, and they were same game parlaying under on everything. You get like an 8-1 payout. And then it came out like, yeah, I was only doing it because it was I think it was Clay's return game. He just wanted to be active for.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets suspect. You need to read these rules because some sports books would pay it out. Some sports books now they have to play a certain amount of time, right? Like for an NFL game to be graded, I believe it's 55 minutes of game time. So if the game goes into the 3rd quarter and then there's a crazy thunderstorm, then those tickets get voided. But if it's, 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter and there's a thunderstorm, well, that's the official grade. So it's very important, man. You have to be reading these rules and regulations, even though it sucks. And I'll be honest, I don't always do it until I get fucked over the way I did. And then I'm going back and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah, bro.
Right? So with Christian McCaffrey, he doesn't play as high as minus 300 to score a touchdown. Which is a crazy price to be paying.
True.
It's a very volatile thing to be laying 3-1 on a guy to score a touchdown.
It'd be interesting. What was his first time touchdown? Do you know?
I think I saw like plus 300. plus 280 maybe.
I mean, that's the play if you're making any.
Right. At that point, it's the same thing I do with big favorites in fighting. If a guy is minus 1800 and I see his submission prop is minus 150, but his TKO is plus 300, I'm betting the plus 300 just playing the numbers there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minus 1800 favorite. I'm going to just take the chance. And it's happened with Bo Nickel. Right? I had Bo Nickel one time to win by TKO 3-1. He was minus 2,800. I got lucky there.
Right.
Because all his wins were by submission. But that's the thing with playing the numbers there. You just try to find a good number and you try to play the numbers in certain scenarios, right? Like you obviously know this guy's going to go out there and starch this dude.
True.
But that's how you do it. So in regards to your question, I know I kind of went long-winded there.
No, but it was very important because
it should get voided if he doesn't play.
The casinos do have the final say, even if it's not in the terms and conditions. Based on what I was told by a gambling lawyer, it's like there's nothing that you can do. They make their own rules. They're governed by their own body. And that's why when it comes to a situation like this, a lot of people get screwed out. I asked you, I was like, do you think this Christian McCaffrey thing's illegal? Like, is it illegal to withhold this information from the public all the way up until game time? He was nowhere on any of the injury reports.
So there's a lot there, right? Because I was posting about this when Jordan Mason kind of snitched on the team in the post-game interview.
100% did.
They asked him, when did you know you were going to start? And he said, oh, Friday. That triggered everybody. Look, I love the NFL. The NFL at its core is the backbone of all the success I've had in content creating. However, there's not a more hypocritical league, I think, ever. We're pro player safety. Let's play on Thursday, right? We're pro player safety. You pass the concussion protocol, even though we kind of know you're fucked up. It's okay. You'll go back in there, right? There's a lot of things. Like the contracts aren't guaranteed, which is a big one. So a guy that's on a rookie deal, he's undrafted, and he has a stinger, he can't afford to not play. Because he has to go out there. And then what happens? He runs the risk of getting hurt and making it even worse. There's so many things, right, that's wrong with the NFL. And we can't be naive and ignorant when it comes to the NFL and sports betting. For the longest time, they neglected it. For the longest time, you weren't allowed to say that, oh, they're a 3-point favorite. You had to have loopholes in the conversations on game shows saying, they're going to win by 2 scores.
Yep.
And you know that the line is -7. You're like, oh, George on TV, who's the sports betting guy, is telling me they're going to win by 2 scores. Okay, let me take the Bears -7.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, I think it's going to be a field goal game. Let me take the Packers +7.
I mean, so hypocritical to the point where we never thought a professional sports team would end up in the city of Las Vegas.
Bro, hold on.
The gambling capital of the world.
That's the top one.
Yes.
What about now? Every network that covers the NFL, you have to have the point spread on. You have to talk about props and yard totals and over-unders. There's live odds that flash through the broadcasting. Why is that? The NFL is the #1 league in the country by a landslide. Like if you look at the top 10, the Nielsen ratings, you look at the top 10 list every year. Hell, if you go top 25, bro, it's like 23 of the 25 are NFL related. And then there's like a random, maybe
American Idol finale.
Yeah, it has to be a debate. Right, you know, a famous show has its like series finale, you know, shit like that.
Yeah, House of Dragon or
but,
some shit.
Dude, even like the NFL draft like beats the NBA finals.
Yeah.
So it's the #1 league in the country. And now every NFL team has a deal with a sports book.
True.
So I say all that. This is a wild story to have break because if they knew that he was out from Friday, which they did because we have the source.
He was told it. The person who replaced him
Yeah,
told
the guy who replaced him told us. You're walking a fine line where you're pissing off a lot of people. There's a lot of money involved in this. The reason why some of these contracts these players are getting, why the league is making more money, why the TV deals are going through the roof, is because you have that influence, man. I've told this story so many times. I'll never forget, bro. Back in like 2016, 2017, I think it was 2016 because I've told you I used to play daily fantasy.
Yeah.
And I had one season where I won like close to like $70,000. I thought I was going to be a professional DFS player. Like I was all in.
I would definitely think that too after winning 70K.
It was wild. It was the greatest stretch ever. I fixed my parents' like bathroom, fixed my dad's teeth, fixed the basement, got a new puppy. Shout out to Jazzy. I got the puppy. Just mad shit, bought sneakers, like the whole nine, right? And I remember that year there was a Thursday night football game. And I was watching it, and I think it was like Titans Jaguars. And I know that's like the running joke, like Titans Jaguars, but I'm pretty sure it was a Titans Jaguars game. And it was a ridiculous score. And my mom just came in and she was like, "Yo, why are you watching this?" I was like, she's like, "What'd you bet on? Is it fantasy implications?" And that always resonated with me. It's like, yo, that's the only reason why I'm watching this game.
100%.
And a lot of it too, man. Like one of the reasons why I truly don't like going to football games.
Because it takes away from your comfortability and I guess the being able to see multiple games at once too.
First of all, this is what we do now, right? Like we're content creators, we talk about the NFL, so I want to have my eyes on all the games. I like having my laptop open. I could look at live lines. I could look at my fantasy team. There's a lot of shit going on that I want to be monitoring. And then when I'm there, I feel like the TV product is also amazing, right? You have your Red Zone, you have your Direct TVs, you have all this shit that you're doing.
Not
all the
Direct
YouTube
TV anymore.
Yeah, YouTube.
RIP.
But it's the product has gotten so bad. But I also think that a lot of it, man, it's the sports betting. And I know we've kind of went on a couple of different tangents, but I like saying controlled chaos. This thing with McCaffrey, you're walking a fine line, dude. You know, there's a lot of people that think this shit is all rigged and it's fixed. And when you have things like this, it's kind of sketchy, man. You can't be withholding information like that from the public. And to tie it into the Monday Night Football game, this is why it's very important to understand betting lines. You know that the line didn't move on this game. McCaffrey got ruled out. It stayed at 3.5.
It's crazy.
It dropped down to -3 San Francisco because people were hammering the Jets. And then what happens now is whatever your perception of McCaffrey was, and look, Offensive Player of the Year, we love McCaffrey. Right? Mm-hmm. He's a white running back. There's not many.
Hey, he's doing well.
He's doing well, right? And look, he's one of the best players in the league. But what this shows you now is if McCaffrey is out, don't adjust your ratings and your power rankings for the 49ers. This dude came in, had over 140 yards from scrimmage, violated the Jets, scored touchdowns. You didn't even realize that McCaffrey wasn't playing. And now it tells you what the Vegas sports books value McCaffrey when he's out, especially now that you've seen the replacement. Mm-hmm. If the replacement went in there and had 2 fumbles, had 13 carries for 40 yards, and it looked bad, now you're like, oh, shit, you know what? When McCaffrey's not in there, it's a 2-point swing.
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I think, the books at that moment in time, they were also handcuffed. I mean, you got to think, they're getting the information at the same time, too. If they make a crazy overreaction, like, it hurts their bottom line. They had a lot of action on that game, I would imagine. I mean, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that are being thrown into that Monday Night Football game. So I wouldn't necessarily expect a game that has that much action on it to move a substantial amount. Like, even if it was, okay, so if it was Brock Purdy, do you think it moves?
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, that's the thing. It's the quarterback that moves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and especially a couple of years ago, Dak Prescott got hurt in week 1, and then he didn't play week 2. And they were playing the Bengals at home, and they went from a 3-point favorite, Dallas was, at home in week 2, to a 7-point underdog. And the backup was Cooper Rush. And I remember being on the show. I'm pretty sure I was in Vegas at the time. Being on the show saying, hey, Cowboys +7, and they're going to win outright. And I think they won by a field goal. And it's because you've seen the quarterback before.
Yeah.
Right? You've seen the backup come in. That's why it's the quarterback is the only one that really matters. And then there's a couple guys, TJ Watt, if he's not in, yeah, that's going to skew the line, or at least it should, because I think there's some ridiculous number that they're like 1-16 without him in the lineup, and they give up like 70 more yards when he's not on the field. It's just these ridiculous trends. And then when you think about it, with this Jordan Mason stuff, you know, he said that he didn't like the question, and the information must be credible and accurate and timely, said someone from the league about the injury report. And again, you always hear this, right? The integrity of the league. It's the integrity of the league. That gets questioned when you have things like this.
Yeah. That's why you have to, I mean, I guess, in the NFL, there's so many storylines. You know this is going to be lost in the shuffle in literally 72 hours. We're going to completely have forgotten about this because he will have been cleared to play by that point in time. But if he didn't, like you were saying before, the 49ers are fine. Brock Purdy, I think this is the season where I stop hating. I think I've been a Brock Purdy hater.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple people in the Discord have felt that way too. Shouts to Mark. Mark in the Discord is like, yo, George, better start paying some fucking respect.
You know what? Respect is paid. Because what he did to that Jets defense, I think it's part Shanahan system. And when you have, months to prepare for this game, I would take Shanahan over Saleh any day of the week. So that didn't necessarily surprise me that it was that lopsided, but he made all the right plays. I think. Are you worried about the Jets because Jordan Mason gets 140 plus yards, and there was really never a point in time in that game where you didn't feel like the 49ers were not going to win it?
Yeah. I know they were my Super Bowl pick, so maybe people are saying I'm just saying this because I'm biased. By the way, a lot of people think I'm a Jets fan because I'm from New York. I'm not. I'm a Jets fan this year, though.
Well, maybe because I am like I'm starting this campaign. Every time that you talk bad about the Giants, I'm going to just do the carousel post. Giants fans are dumb. That's probably why, bro. They're like, he's moved on.
Yeah. I got out that toxic relationship. Ironically enough, right? It's the only thing that you could be in a shit relationship and you're kind of tied to it for the rest of your life.
Being a Giants fan?
No, being a sports fan.
Being a sports fan, yeah.
Like a real sports fan, no matter how bad it gets, like I like to tell girls, I'm like, my best quality is that I'm loyal. And they're like, it's a red flag when a guy says that they're loyal. I say, no. I've been a Mets and Knicks fan my whole life. It's been pain.
Right.
It's been a lot of pain. And I'm going down with the ship. No man is an island. I'm going down with them.
And if the girl doesn't understand that, she's not the one.
She's not the one. Yeah, you got to understand. You got to understand.
She's like, that. Giants and Mets, what is that?
Yeah. It shows character, bro. Like, as the one thing I used to say as a Mets fan, and I still do, it's like, it was so easy to be a Yankee fan growing up, bro.
Of course.
You got Jeter, Posada, Mo, Pettit. Like, they were winning, right? The pinstripes are fucking iconic, dude. Like, being a Mets fan is fucking lame. It sucks. But I would say, it develops character. You know that I am down for the long haul. I am loyal. I have perseverance. And when it gets ugly, the boy ain't leaving. That's my that should be my Hinge bio.
Yeah. And if you don't get this, move on.
Move on.
Boom.
Yeah,
period.
move on. With the Jets though, right?
It's over for them. They got the ball ran.
Really? You think so?
They got the ball ran all over the field by somebody that we didn't even know 48 hours ago. And it just gives me the remnants of same old Jets.
No, I strongly disagree. I think I feel better about them losing that game than I did going into the season. And here's why. Aaron Rodgers looks good, man. He made a couple of throws that you're saying to yourself, okay, he still got it. You still got it.
Bump, 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 bump.
You still got it. That was my takeaway. Garrett Wilson caught like 4 passes on that opening drive that they scored a touchdown. Their touchdown that they scored on. He made a throw to Alan Lazard that I think no Jets fan has ever seen their quarterback complete, like down the sideline. Aaron Rodgers made Alan Lazard competent. Like he was like the #1 waiver guy in all of fantasy football this week. And dude, they lost best team in the league, second best team. This team just went to the Super Bowl.
That's
so if I'm a Jets fan, I feel good that all right, Rodgers took a couple hits. He's fine.
More than a couple.
Yeah,
he took a lot of hits.
Yeah, and look, Breece Hall didn't get the job done in week 1, but that's also a good team. If they would have lost to the Giants, or to the Raiders or to the Panthers, I'd be like, holy shit, them winning the Super Bowl is fucking ridiculous. But dude, they were a 4.5 point underdog. They were plus 180 on the money line. It was expected for them to lose. I know it was my favorite pick of the week last week and it didn't hit, but I feel good about it, man. I like what I saw, and you lost to a really good team. Right? How do you feel about Baltimore? Because they lost to the Chiefs. They're 0-1. But I feel
about Baltimore is that it's the same Baltimore until proven otherwise.
So they're going to be fine, though.
They're going to be fine, but they are going to rely on Lamar Jackson to do everything.
Right.
And same thing, the situation that the Bills are in.
Sure. But I feel better about these teams having lost because I took a lot out of that. I'm a glass half full kind of guy anyway. But I think it was promising. And look, man, you lost to the Niners, bro. You're going to lose to good teams. It was their home opener, Monday Night Football. My concerns was coming into the year was the coaching, and I feel like the coaching sucks. Like Robert Saleh is this defensive guy, and the defense got carved up, and they didn't have their best player. But again, also I got to take a step back and say Kyle Shanahan is what, the best coach in the league, second, definitely a top 3 coach in the league.
Yeah.
So if I'm a Jets fan, I feel good about it.
This next week is, I guess, the biggest week in Jets football history.
Nah, don't get that crazy. Why you say that?
Because if they go 0-2 versus the Tennessee Titans, I know they're on the road, but they're favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't seem like they've done what it takes to like elevate themselves past like what the public perception is. I mean, yes, we're giving you a pass with the 49ers. If the Titans beat them,
yeah,
it's panic button.
Oh, no.
Yes or no?
No, 100%. Yeah. It's a different conversation come Monday. Everything I just spent 5 minutes on, if they lose to Tennessee.
Yeah. Then it's
same old Jets. What were we thinking? But if you are the Jets, and you'll hear them when we get to our game picks, this is a game you go out there and you win by double digits.
That's what I was hoping.
If you want to be taken seriously, all right, we talk about this all the time, the prime time factor. We saw them lose in prime time. Some people don't feel the way I do. Same old Jets. Like you feel same old Jets. I don't. I took a lot of promise out of that, and I'm looking at the mistakes that the Titans made in week 1. Do you know that teams that were underdogs that had a 17 or more point lead at any time in the game were 66-1-1 against the spread in that game, and they didn't even cover against the Bears?
Yeah. I watched it unfold live in an Osage casino in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as I was sipping a shitty Blue Moon from a plastic cup. Oh, that was, and we'll go over more.
We'll get to them in a little bit.
Titans play.
But I think that I want to put a bow on this conversation with one more talking point about the injury reports and things being hidden from the public.
Yes.
We were doing the show together last year when Bijan Robinson got 1 touch in a football game.
Correct.
And he was the number 8 pick overall. He was a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Bell cow running back, got 1 carry. And then the report came out after, there was some disciplinary things going on, or he might have been hurt. I don't remember.
I think it was a flu.
I think he was sick, but he wasn't on the injury report. And people lost their shit. Again, there's a lot of money involved. There was another incident back in 2019. I remember because I bet this game. The Steelers were playing. Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback, was not on the injury report at all. Sorry, he appeared on the injury report that Wednesday, and it was... and the injury was rest.
Yeah.
And then he leaves the game on Sunday with elbow issues. And then the reports come out that they knew about these elbow issues. Dude, that's the quarterback.
Yeah.
You need to know about that. The injury report, it's a conflicting conversation. Some people agree, some people disagree. It has to do with the betting. It's not gamesmanship. I think gamesmanship is one of the dumbest things I hear in sports and in fighting.
Do you know that, did I tell you they're doing it for SEC football this year?
Really? What are they doing?
The injury report.
Oh, yeah?
First time ever in college football history. So why do you think they're doing that?
There's a lot of money involved, bro.
especially in that conference.
There's a lot of money involved. And
You gotta know.
Have you watched so the injury report, right? Just to stay on this topic, it was created for the sports books to be able to adjust their ratings and knowing that certain players aren't playing. Because if you know a quarterback is playing and then he's not playing, that's a massive swing, right? Did you watch the Netflix thing on
Michigan
Stallions?
No.
So the guy from Michigan, right?
Yes.
That was stealing all the signs.
What was his name?
Connor Stallions.
Okay.
Yo, I'm sorry, bro. If I'm watching a game and this means handoff left, that's on you that I'm able to figure that out.
Correct.
I don't think that's cheating. I think that's, lie, cheat, and steal, bro. I'm going to gain an edge. If a pickoff play is coming in baseball, then, bro, that's your job for not hiding it. I'll tell you a funny story. I went to a high school football game. I was like 24, 25. One of my friend's younger brothers was playing it, and it was a playoff game. We were in the crowd. We were hammered. High-level degenning at a high school football game.
That's
being tagged,
awesome, though.
right? And I'm sitting on the sideline behind the other team's bench, and they're yelling out, UConn. People are blitzing. Syracuse. People are blitzing. Wisconsin. Badger. And I'm watching it, and mind you, I'm tanked now, right? And I'm like, every time I go to my boy whose brother's playing, I'm like, bro, every time they yell out of school, they blitz. He goes, I was like, just look at it. Bama, they're blitzing. He texts his brother. They get in contact. They make their adjustments. They end up winning the game.
Look at Lamb.
So,
doing it for the high school.
Yeah, I mean, we had to for the culture. But is that cheating, or is that you're giving out your cues and you're an idiot? Like,
They're an idiot.
Keep it hidden. When I played football, bro, we used to have calls that had to do with like topics in school. So I'll give you an example. The math department was on the 3rd floor. So anything we said with math was a 3 count, snap count. Algebra, trigonometry, like any shit like that. And then science was on the 4th floor. Chemistry. Unless you went to the school, you had no idea what it was.
Right.
Like shit like that. Oxygen, whatever it was, those were the calls. And if you're saying, like I said, that means handoff left, that's not, fuck that, bro. Why am I getting in trouble, dude? If I can game the system, I'm gonna do it. I think it was ridiculous, like the whole Michigan shit. And and look, now if you're doing what the Astros did, and there's like maybe electronics involved and shit like that, no. But if you're just the guys on the sideline,
who cares? Even what the Astros did, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to play these sports?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to play these sports and cheat without getting caught?
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of it. And whatever the repercussions are what? The Astros are World Series champions and Michigan wins the national championship? Cheat. When the Saints had bounties on people's heads and we were pumping in crowd noise, we won Super Bowls. When Bill Belichick was stealing every sign and filming practices, he won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
There's a strong correlation to my franchise we are adopting cheating as a core principle and winning titles.
My best friend in Buffalo, he would just be like, hey man, be better. That was just be better.
Right.
Again, if this signal, if that means that it's a play action pass and I can pick that up, that's your fault.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna take an advantage.
Now in college football, they have the comms. So they have the in-ears for the quarterback and then one player on defense. I've always wondered this, and I guess somebody can figure this out for us and let us know in the DMs. Wouldn't it be easy to steal that radio frequency from what is being
hacker
told?
Shit?
Bro, if Michigan is paying a dude $125,000 to study signs and give a report back, I'm sure the university would gladly pay $2 million to figure out a way to steal frequencies. I'm sure it wouldn't even be that hard.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Like, it's just a weird thing. Like, you see it in soccer sometimes when players, you see it on the international level when games go to penalty kicks and 2 guys are playing, say it's Brazil, Croatia, and you have a couple guys on Brazil and a couple guys on Croatia that play on the same club team. They both play for Real Madrid. And they go to penalty kicks. And the one penalty kick taker for Brazil is about to take the penalty kick, and he knows where he always goes. He tells his goalie, "Yo, right there, bro. He's gonna go there. He's gonna go there," and then he saves it. Is that cheating, or is that, maybe don't go there?
Yeah, no, that's just
strategy. That fucking Luka Modric knows that Rodrigo always goes bottom right. Go the other way. I think that's fair game, bro. If I could cheat the system like that, I'm not taking steroids. I'm not taking PEDs. I'm capitalizing on you being dumb.
Yeah.
That to me is, I'm gonna take that advantage.
Except with the injury reports. We got to cut that shit out.
Nah, the injury reports is different, man. The injury reports is different. Let us know.
That's the type of cheating we don't like.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. I think it's a fascinating conversation. It's and it's gonna keep happening, bro. It's gonna keep happening. These sports books are not going anywhere. We had the conversation about the stock market versus sports betting. It's only growing and growing and growing, and there's more people talking about it, and it's covered on a national scale and in mainstream media. So it's a fascinating conversation. It's not going to be the last time that you see this, right? You see athletes are getting picked apart for betting and whatnot. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think. And it won't be the last time we'll be revisiting this.
Oh, 100%.
That's for sure. George, a couple of injury news that I want to discuss with you. So we didn't really talk much about Jordan Love getting hurt.
Which is wild because it was at the very end of the game. And so it's like fresh, bro. Like, we didn't even see if he can make it back out. That's the part that's got everybody wondering. Is it a ACL tear? Is it an MCL tear? The MRI results haven't been released yet, have they?
So they did put out a report that he's going to be out for 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
There is a slight possibility. So again, how I mentioned before about you got to know your sports books. Some places have the Colts and Packers game up. Some don't. There is a possibility that LaFleur said he might be playing this week. So you never know. The question I want to ask you is, do you buy into this notion that it's because they played in Brazil and a lot of these injuries happen on field conditions, right? I root for a team that plays at MetLife Stadium, which is a nightmare. Like the amount of people that have had season-ending injuries over there because of the turf. Hell, even Aaron Rodgers last year, it was at MetLife Stadium. The 49ers one year, they played back-to-back weeks in New York, and that was a season from hell that they had where everybody was getting hurt left and right. The World Cup final in 2026 is going to be over there. It's very concerning. I know a lot of club teams are already like, fuck, man, we pay this guy 50 million euros a year, and now you got to go play on that shit. Do you buy into this notion about the field being the issue that he got hurt?
No, not on this one. I've seen a lot of
I
other.
think that's the answer. I agree.
But I did see a lot of slipping early on. I mean, we had mentioned on Monday's show Saquon's first carry, he face planted, which was not the most welcoming way to start the 2024 season. But yeah, it was a blatant penalty. I mean, the fact that they didn't call that was insane because even when you watch it in slow-mo, the way he grabs his leg. I was actually on the treadmill today and I watched a 15-minute video on a doctor talking about like the force that was being put on it. And he was pretty confident that even though it may not have been a full ACL tear, it's going to take exactly 4 to 8 weeks to fully recover from an injury like that. And I don't blame it on Brazil though. I think that's a weak type excuse, especially given the video evidence. Now, was there other players that got was there any like ACLs or like blown out ankles
in that game? No, but I feel like I just took it as unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bam play. He got rolled up on. I thought it was an ACL right away. Always do whenever an injury like that occurs, just like the way the knee bends. But then you'll see other times where a guy gets lit up and like he completely folds, like his shoulder hits his ankle and then he gets up and like sprints back to the hole. You're like, what the hell? Yeah,
I know. The human body really, it's interesting.
I don't look at that as it being a field issue.
But it was
just unfortunate.
Yeah. All Packers fans though should be extremely worried because is it Malik Willis that's getting the start this week?
I believe so. They were talking to Ryan
was it
Tannehill
Clifford?
about bringing him in there too.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. That's the late scramble. Is Flacco still available? Is what they're thinking. Oh, bro, even better. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Bro, with the Tommy Copper on, wear a triple Tommy Copper wristband, arm sleeve, shoulder vest.
Yeah.
He would. I am confident in this because Aaron Rodgers is playing and he's a grandpa. Brett Favre can come into a game and put up more yards than Caleb Williams did week 1. I am very confident in that, actually.
That'd be hilarious, bro. What would the line be on that?
It would be plus money, but it would be every time that Tyson goes back and fights, it's everyone's always like,
it's the nostalgia factor.
oh, he still got it in him, right?
Yeah, it was unfortunate though, man, because like with Jordan Love, they were my Super Bowl representative out of the NFC. I actually put a wager on Packers Jets to be the Super Bowl at 120-1, and after Jordan Love got hurt on Saturday and the report came out, I actually cashed it out because now I'm like, all right, they're not gonna have Jordan Love, and in the event that the Jets do go down, I'll probably get a better number. I'm still gonna bet it at some point in the season.
Right.
If they could weather the storm here, the Packers. And look, their schedule isn't that ridiculous. It's not as if the Packers have this like murderer's row coming up. Because I remember saying that if they could win this game, it should be pretty favorable, right? Like they play the Packers. The Packers play the Colts this week. Then they got the Titans. Then they got Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then they have the Rams and then Cardinals at home. And then the Texans at home. So it's like, all right, a couple tough games. There are going to be tough games, but I think it's a favorable schedule for them if they did have Jordan Love. Now with him not there, it's definitely going to be concerning, man. You gotta wait and see what happens. But I think long term, it's not season ending. If you're the Packers, you're like, yo, let's be 2-3 when he comes back. At worst, 2-4. But we need to have 2 wins by the time he comes back. So maybe they could steal one of these games here.
They better, or else it's going to be a uphill battle in that what's going to be a tighter NFC North than people would think.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, it seems like people are
they're the only team to lose in that division.
Yeah,
in week 1.
Yeah.
Another injury that I definitely want to highlight is Puka. Puka is on the IR for at least 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been rookie of the year last year, man. Oh, fuck, that would have been such a great call, dude. Oh, we got screwed, bro. I really do. I'm salty about this shit. I'm going to be remembering Puka. I'm going to be remembering McCaffrey the way I do James Harden. You know James Harden when Russell Westbrook lost Kevin Durant and Russ won MVP?
Yeah, it was...
James Harden had a monster season as well, and I had said he was like 20-1. I put
Didn't
a lot of money.
Didn't he win the scoring title?
Yeah, he won.
It was like 35.5 points or something. He was averaging.
Going crazy. They had 8 more wins than the Thunder. And everyone that listens to this show, they always hit me up when I start going on this rant. They're like, bro, let it go. I'm like, no, I'm not. The same thing with Puka and McCaffrey. Because I think it was like 111 rebounds was the reason why he didn't win it. Because he would have averaged a triple-double also. But anyway, Puka last year, he sets all these records. And I think when we were talking about the Rams on the preview show, I was high on Cooper Kupp coming into this year. Dude had 20 targets. He had 9 at halftime, even with Puka still on the field. Because a lot of people are saying, well, he had all these, he had 14 catches and, he went from 80-1. Now he's the 5th favorite for Offensive Player of the Year. It's like, no. Cooper Kupp last year was killing it, bro. The last couple weeks, 8 for 115 and a touchdown, 6 for 40 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I remember
8 for 111 and a touchdown.
Everybody thought Puka was gonna like steal his touches out of the thin air. It's he is their offense.
Yeah, he's still main read number 1. You saw it right away in the first half with Puka out there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that was why I was pro Rams. I wanted to pick the Rams as a team that was going to regress. And even though they lost week 1, I loved what I saw from them. There was 3 teams that lost week 1 that I still feel good or even better about them. The Jets, the Ravens, and the Rams. And Cooper Kupp is back, bro. He's 31 years old. The chemistry that he has with Stafford from day 1 when they got there, it's been unbelievable. And I think I was telling people, I would draft Cooper Kupp over Puka. You could get him 4 rounds later in drafts. because it's the new flame.
Right.
It's the new girl next door.
It's a new shiny toy.
Yeah, she's
People want
younger, right?
He's got long hair.
Yeah, she's in her
He
20s.
was in the commercials with Troy Polamalu, the Head and Shoulders. He was
Exactly.
doing things like that.
It's the new fling,
It's Puka
right?
shows.
And that's what you wanted. That's what people wanted. But it's like, yo, Cooper Kupp is still that boy with the Rams, and he's first read. So I think it's going to continue. I think we got to have Cooper Kupp every week and take his catches in the anytime department. I think the catches were great. Dude, his catches were 6.5. He did that in the first half.
Yeah.
Like he cashed it. It was like minus 110.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I think with the Puka thing, it's not season ending. And I think that the Rams offense, I'm worried about their offensive line. That was concerning. But they were missing a tackle too. So maybe that plays into it. But I'm not worried about the Rams. And I think Puka is going to come back and he's going to have an impact right away. And I think even when he comes back, I think you should still look at the Cooper Kupp props, take him over, because people have a misconception sometimes that just because two good players are on the field, that it takes away from one or the other. And it doesn't. Sometimes it improves both of them. It's the T. Higgins thing. You know, T. Higgins' numbers are actually better with Jamar Chase on the field as opposed to off. And usually you would say, oh, he's not on the field, more targets for T. Higgins. It's like, no, he gets one more target per game and his yardage is down because now he's the main attraction. So having the two guys on the field, yeah. So I think that's something to look for when Puka comes back. And as far as this injury, it was an injury that he was carrying into the season from the summer. And look, it was just unfortunate. But again, it's not season ending and it's going to happen. A lot of guys are going to get hurt, unfortunately. That's just the game. But I think this is more of a pro Cooper Kupp thing and pro Rams, even with this injury, than it is like it being so devastating.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. The Rams are fine. I knew that Rams-Lions game was going to be extremely close. It's amazing the way that the scheduling worked out for the Lions this week because they get to play the Buccaneers. So it's back-to-back weeks for them where they get to play their playoff opponents from last year, which is super dope to me. It's like back-to-back revenge games. But the Rams, no need to fear. When you have Matt Stafford at the helm, who, dare I say, is better than Aaron Rodgers. Ever since we had that debate, I can't stop thinking now that Matt Stafford's better than Aaron Rodgers. I'm firmly planted in it.
Man, look, I don't think I've been happier for a dude winning a championship more that didn't play for my team than Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yeah.
And again, biased because I bet them to win the Super Bowl that year. But, dude, we talk about this so many times. And it's unfortunate that people get this reputation in sports that they're not winners or they're not successful because their team sucks. And so much of it, bro, is where you end up and who drafts you. And then there's a lot of shit that goes into it, right? The owner needs to be competent. The GM, the head coach, your players need to stay healthy. Your players need to be good and productive. And he was just buried in Detroit. And, you know, real recognizes real, game recognizes game. The consensus in the league was always, bro, Stafford is that guy. But we just don't see. They win 5 games. They win 7 games. I think he's won double digits in Detroit twice.
Yeah.
And he never had a 100-yard rusher until Reggie Bush got there. And his main weapon retired early. Like, that was what the Lions were known as. And look, sometimes you get that one ring and it's like, oh shit, he's always been this good. And for him to win that late in his career like he did, it was what, year 13 or 14 that he won it with the Rams?
Very recent.
Yeah. And it goes a long way, man. I wouldn't go that far because I still think I think Mahomes and Rodgers are the two best quarterbacks I've seen. Just the wow throw. We're like, holy shit, how do you make that?
Oh my God. See, but you know, everybody does this. All right. Can we just put them all three together? This is starting to get into like when you get the LeBron Jordan debate and people are like, oh, but Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the rings though, man. People bring up the rings and it's so dismissive of shit.
I love it.
I don't like
Tom Brady's nowhere in that conversation.
Yeah.
We all know.
Yeah.
Tom threw a boring ball. You throw a football better than Tom Brady.
I wouldn't go that far. I do think I throw a very good. We gotta shoot a video, bro. I've been telling you this. We gotta, because a lot of people are like
combine throws.
A lot of people are like, yo, bro,
I want to see Lamb on the rollout where you have to under pressure. You're rolling out this way, throwing across your body, 60-yard.
Bro, I could
need to see
it. I could sling.
I need to see it.
We need to have proof now. We need to have proof. All right, let's get into a Patreon read.
While you do that, I gotta take a leak, dude.
All right, yeah, you go and use the bathroom while I do some Patreon.
Tell the Patreon people I like them.
Yeah, George loves you guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, rate, review, subscribe to the channel. Hit the link below. Give us a thumbs up. We've gotten over 3,000 new subscribers since June 1st, which is amazing. Want to try to hit the 25,000 mark. We're at about 15,500 right now subscribers on YouTube. Hope you guys are enjoying the new banners and layouts and the thumbnails and all that stuff on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/veteransminimum. Support for this show comes from Patreon. We are currently at 75 paid members. Shout out to all of you. Special shout out to Alan, Carafa, Courage Mosey, Nico, Trampakulos. Shout out to the Greeks. That's definitely a Greek last name. And Arturo Cervantes. Thank you for being new members of the Patreon and supporting us as we continue to build the show. And then to the members of the Patreon in the top tiers, the Supermax, we got Daniel Gibson, Mahul Patel, Abel Rezin, Ben Kotzian, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Plates, Dylan Chadwick, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, Nick Crummich, and Thomas Robinson. Thank you all for that. And while we're still here, we do have the ESPN contest that we're running. Last week, Bears fan 78 came in first place. DM us at Veterans Minimum. Hit me up. If you're in the Discord and you're a Patreon member, you're going to get $100 if you won, since you won this contest. If not, you're going to get $50 sent to you. And we're doing this every week. It's free to enter. The link is in the bio of every episode. All you got to do is just pick every single game against the spread. Whoever has a top record. He went 13-3, which is wild. Going 13-3 is nuts against the number. Like, dude, if we could go 13-3 every week, we would ask people for money to fucking bet on these games, if we're being honest. That's a ridiculous record. So shout out to you. And again, it's in the link of every episode. And yeah, man, the growth of the show has been amazing. And continue to support, tag us, follow us, hit us up, fan questions week in, week out. And that's going to bring us to the fan question portion of the episode. George, fan question of the day comes from Discord and Patreon member Thomas Robinson. No show, Thomas. Thoughts on building self-confidence and how do you maintain it, whether it's in the gym, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in life, whether it's in work. Thoughts on this one? I thought this was interesting.
Life is as simple as doing the things that make you happy. And you have to really break that down into what that means for your life. I always tell people the best way to build self-confidence is do all the chores that you were told to do as a kid. Literally, clean your house, do the laundry, take the trash out. Like, take your mind off of, I guess, the day-to-day minutia of like going to work and shit. Like, life really is as simple as you complete a task, you feel good. So try to find a way to complete lots of tasks in a day that make you feel good. And before you know it, your self-confidence will go up because completing tasks makes you happier. That's the way I look at life. Like, I think it's especially easy to tell somebody who just like lost a job, like, don't get all sad and shit. Don't feel like you're not still worth something. You're still worth something because you are able to, you know, make yourself happy. And you do that by doing all the little things right. Mike Tomlin once told me that.
I like that. You know, I always push back on people when they're like, dude, don't be upset. It's like, no, I think you should be. I think it's normal to be upset, right? Like how We were talking.
It's the duration of how long you allow
100%, and that's what I was gonna get to.
Yes,
right. Like circumstances, everything. Now, I call it the 48-hour rule. When something goes south, I have a issue with the car, or a girl tells me it's over, or I get into an argument with someone. I'll be honest, bro. For 2 days, I'm kind of fucked. Like I'm really down on myself. But then after that, it's like slap myself silly. Yeah, it's time to get back to whatever work we got to do.
Correct.
So yeah, I think that's a normal thing. We were talking about Caleb Williams on the preview show, how I don't have a problem with him after his season ends, him going and crying to his mom. Now, if he was doing that after every game, hey, yo, Caleb, we gotta talk. This is now
this is an issue.
Now this is getting crazy. But I think that's a normal thing. I think that shows that you care. When it comes to self-confidence, my answer to this is it ties into self-awareness, which is one of my biggest. It's probably one of my biggest characteristics. I pride myself on being self-aware. I never ask for something I feel like I haven't deserved or earned, and even then, I kind of don't. And I think it's being honest with yourself, and it ties into how much time you've put into things. You know, people talk about imposter syndrome, right? Especially in the content space, it's such a like hot button topic.
Oh my gosh!
I suffer from imposter syndrome.
I'm in front of cameras now.
I don't. I feel like I've put enough time in now. The people that I work with have kind of put a battery in my back. The feedback I get from people, it's like, no, I belong now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe in that imposter syndrome. I've also been doing this for about a decade. And it's the same thing I tell people, you know, there's so many microcosms of like jujitsu, which is a super big passion of mine. And then like the content creating, right? It's like, dude, some people are starting shows now. It's like, bro, you haven't even gotten a stripe on your white belt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a black belt in this shit. It takes a while. And then I tell some people like, yo, you've put in the work for so long on your craft that at some point the imposter syndrome, yeah, I had it 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
For a sec, you know?
No, I had it for a decent amount of time where I'd be like, damn, bro, why am I talking to this person? Now it's like, why aren't I talking to this person? Why haven't I gotten this chance? And it goes back to the self-awareness. It goes back to the time that you put into your craft. And it just goes a long way. I'll tell you a quick personal story, man, one time. Because, you know, I work with Carmona and Mace on their show, and I produce and edit that. Shout out to It Is What It Is. But you know, for so many times, bro, coming up in this like industry and then in this game of content creating, George, I would give people ideas and they would kind of laugh at them. It's like I didn't have the resume, or I didn't have the credibility. Even though I was building out my show and it was successful and I was happy with it, public perception is you don't have the numbers that we should take you seriously, right? And I remember just giving them a suggestion on something, like on the last time they filmed, and then they came back the next week and they were doing it. And then they're doing the suggestion that I laid out to them. And then I come in and I'm fixing the camera and I'm like geeked out. I'm smiling like this. And then Cameron's like, yo, what's good, bro? You got some pussy yesterday? Is that why you like all giddy and shit? And I was like, nah, man, it's just, you know, and I told them what I just told you now. And they kind of dismissed it. And then Mace came into the control room. He's like, yo, let me talk to you for a second. He's like, how long you been doing this? I'm like, yeah, about like 9 years now. He's like, you know, if you're an expert in your field now, if you ever wanted to make a hip hop album, I hope you would come and ask me and Killa about this.
Right.
Like you would want
you go
feedback.
to the experts.
Yeah, you go to the people that know what they're doing. And to tie this all into the self-confidence thing, it's you've put time into something and you've dedicated. And if you're self-aware and you understand it, that you are, like imposter syndrome and self-confidence, man, it's when you see someone that has confidence, bro, it's like infectious.
Mm-hmm.
You like being around those people
100%.
and there's just an energy about it. And I hate using that word too, because it's like, oh, energy and spirituality. It's like all that corny shit. But there's also some truth to it too.
Eeyore was a character, right? Eeyore was a sad motherfucker. Like you don't want to be that. And that's what Winnie the Pooh taught us. Winnie the Pooh is good for showing us what not to be. And that's an Eeyore. And so that's the I guess my last thing on the self-confidence is when you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you better be willing to accept what you've put forth effort-wise that day to your dreams. Because if you're cheating yourself, No wonder you're not confident in yourself. You son of a bitch, you're lazy. Like,
Dude, it was funny.
It's not hard.
Me and Brian talk about this, the second Brian reference on this episode, and he hasn't paid us for all of these, but he should maybe. Maybe he should swing another middle finger in our direction.
What a nice guy.
We talk often about, like, there's some people we know that are into, like, the spiritual space and, you know, like self-improvement. And I think it's important, right? And for me, it doesn't do anything, but for others, I know it's helped them. And, like, look, man, if it works for you, it works for you, bro. For me, I just find a lot of things corny, and I find a lot of people corny. And there's probably people that feel that way about me too, right? So it's cool. Like, it is what it is. Whatever makes you happy. Like, very rarely am I upset about anything that makes someone happy. It's like, why should I, bro? Do your thing, right? I say all that because one time I was out with, like, a bunch of like these guys from, like, Vegas and shit, and we're all talking, and everyone's kind of going around the circle, and they're kind of just, like, telling their upbringing and shit. And I was just like, yeah, bro, I was a fucking loser until about, like, 4 years ago. And then the one kid was like, dude, don't talk about yourself that way. Like, you shouldn't be so mean to yourself. So I was like, no, I prefer that, because that's how I improve.
Yeah.
Right? What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. I like people in my life being like, yo, bro, stop.
Yeah.
You're dressing
you're doing soft shit right now. Like, you're acting soft. I think that's the male approach to, like, when you got to snap your boy out of it.
Yeah, dude. And all my friends to this day, bro, like, I'm so grateful for the people I grew up with, and I've given big love to my parents, obviously, but man, they would fucking rip into me, because my mom would be like, yo, look, it's wild out there. People are going to be mean. Now, if the people that love you are mean to you, fucking George telling you some shit is not going to sting as much. You'd be like, yo, bro, my mom at 26, true story, was like, what girl wants to be with you, bro? You're 250 pounds. You got no ambition, no drive. Like, you love this podcast shit, but you're not even dedicated to that. Like, of course you're single. Of course you're a fucking loser. That's how I was. Like, that's what helped me. And thank God I had those people in my life to tell me that.
Right.
Because now we're a stud, and we're just out
Look at
here.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Self-confidence,
baby.
5 years from that moment, right?
Yeah.
God damn, that's pretty tragic, though. Mom said that definitely stung a little bit. 48-hour rule. We flushed it after.
Yeah, and then you got after it. You know, you go, you get a nice workout in. You start to improve your life. You crank one like a soldier, and you just move on, bro.
That's the way to do it, man. That's a true flush.
That's
the cleanse. That's a good male cleanse.
That's a male cleanse. Do it like a man, and we move on. All right, and let's move on to week 2 picks. Great question. No show, Thomas. And again, send us your questions, man. We're gonna do this every week. This segment is brought to you by Patreon. Another cheap plug, patreon.com/veterans minimum. All right, George.
Yes.
Recap from last week. I went 2-3 against the number, though we did go 3-3 if we include the toxic one, but I don't want to include that. I feel good that we said, hey, Bills -6.5. Just be very careful. Just seemed fishy that the line opened up 2 weeks ago and it never moved. That is always very hesitant, and it's just toxic, right? They're not good for you, even though it's appealing and she's hot. We got to stay away. So I went 2-3 against the spread. Crashed and burned on Ursulita. Boy, was that ugly. Also, Adriana did not hit for us. And again, if you guys are new to the show, just another quick rundown. What these mean is we have Ursulita. It's the ugliest pick of the week, but we have to play it. Adriana, I think Adriana Lima at her absolute prime was the hottest woman that ever lived on the planet. Great girl. That's the favorite pick of the week. Trust and Lamb, you have to bet this one. Colts +2.5 last week.
Raiders +3 for me.
Raiders +3 for you. In this economy, it doesn't matter. You have to play this. That was the Giants for me, and boy, did that one suck also. The toxic one is just be careful. That line is suspicious. It's going to kill the most bettors, and it did. And then this is why no one will remember your name. We were on the Pats +9. So just a little rundown of what each pick stands for. George, lead us off with let's go Ursulita.
I chose the under for primetime football on Sunday night with the Rams and the Lions, and it did go under. That game at halftime, you already started to get the vibe and the feel that it was going to go under. So this week for Ursulita, I'm going to choose the nastiest under that you can possibly take, Chargers, Panthers, under 39 points. Why even put this game on television? This is a game that is going to be extremely ugly. I don't think the Chargers offense is going to put up the amount of points that the Saints did. They run the ball. They're conservative. I also have this feeling, Nick, that the Carolina Panthers played so bad week 1 that this is the last week that they care. You know why? Because it's like you get that first initial loss. You don't necessarily give up hope on the season, but if it happens back-to-back weeks where you get 40 points put on you, it's over. Your season's done. I want the under in this game. I'm not going to watch it because I know it's going to be a snooze fest, lots of field goals. But it's ugly and it's Ursulita for the fact that the Chargers could put up 60 points on this team.
There's some interesting stats back in this. So Justin Herbert, the under in the last 3 seasons, 21-10 in 31 regular season starts. The most profitable quarterback to the under in that span. And you would imagine it being the complete opposite. It's like Justin Herbert, laser rocket arm, and all this shit, and
Keenan
and Eckler and Mike Williams. Not the case. I like it, man. Look, you also gave out the Rams under on primetime. You're on the primetime
That's why I'm continuing with my Ursulita unders.
Yeah, nah, it's good, man. Look, unders, and I kind of was making fun of you on that. It's like, this guy is not fun. Guy roots for unders, but it's a high rate, man. It's a boring thing. It's like betting fights to go the distance. No one likes that shit.
Ugly as shit.
It's ugly as shit. Yeah. Shout out to Ursulita.
What about you?
I'm gonna do it again.
Oh my God. Say it.
Okay, hear me out. I'm not a believer of never am I doing this again. But I'm gonna do it again. We're back on the Panthers, baby. Plus 6.5.
How bad can it be?
How bad could it be? Nah, but on a serious note, right? I got some stats here for you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Panthers had the worst loss of week 1, losing by 37 points to the Saints, which, by the way, if I lose a game, I want it lost like that.
Yeah. Blow me out of the water.
I prefer being put out my misery with a bet than me losing on a backdoor cover field goal or
I lost 2 games on the hook.
Or the guy like drops a pass that would have gave him over where it's like half a yard, right? The amount of parlays where people lose by half a yard. No, I'd rather lose by 37 points than having no chance. So they lose by 37 points to the Saints. In the last 20 years, teams to lose by 35 points or more as 4-point underdogs. The next game, ready for this? 50, 18-2 against the number, 73%. So teams that get blown out by 35 or more and then are underdogs the next week of 4 or more points, a 73% trend in your favor. I'm going on the Panthers, man. Look, they should have a big crowd at the game because tickets are 74 cents. So Carolina, let's keep pounding.
Yeah.
Get it together and let's bounce
get Steph
back.
Curry back out there.
6.5, man. Let's not forget. This team beat the Texans last year. They Bryce Young's best game was against the Packers, both at home.
Yeah,
It's the Chargers on the road as a favorite. And then when you look at the betting splits here, you have a pros versus Joes game, man. And the line moved 4 points, which is significant. From 3.5 open to 6.5 now. So 3-point move. I'm going with the Panthers, man. Ursulita. Yeah. Do I bounce back with a trust slam?
Yeah, because you got to build the confidence back in your picks for these people. Golly, run it back.
Jets. Listen, man.
You don't like the Titans.
I don't like the Titans. The line on this game was -4. It is now -3.5. You have 79% of the bets coming in on the Titans, while 67% of the money is coming in on the Jets. This is going to determine one thing for me for the Jets moving forward. We said it earlier on the show, and I'm going to repeat it. If you are a Super Bowl contender, if you are a team that a lot of us think you are, an 11 to 12 win team, you have to win this game by double digits. You have to go into Tennessee. You lose on primetime. Morale is low. People are saying same old Jets, like George was saying to open up the show. This is where if you want to be taken serious, you have to win this game 27-13, 28-14, maybe put up a 30 spot.
Yeah.
You should be able to move the ball on this Titans team. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Jets to bounce back. This is the trust in Lamb. And by the way, a lot of people are asking, especially people in Vegas, like, why Lamb? Growing up, that was my nickname back home. It's because I'm Greek. My friend group, we had 4 Nick D's. Everyone had a nickname, and mine was Lamb. So, yeah, Greek Easter, rotisserie, the lamb, the whole 9. Amazing food. Great food.
And if people join the Discord and put in your picks, they would refer to you as the hero. Look what I did there.
Whoa.
That's a
good.
Greek food reference.
That's good. Let's
for you
go
losers
to
out there.
the Jets -3.5 is the Trust in Lamb pick of the week. What do you got? Trust in George. Captain George.
Captain George pick of the week is going to be Tampa Bay getting 7 points playing the Detroit Lions. This is a playoff rematch from last year. And the one thing I noticed, and we discussed earlier, like the Lions, although they did address the corner position in the draft, and Terrion Arnold is a dog. Like he is a good player. He went up against Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp torched him all night. I think the same thing happens with Mike Evans. People want the Lions. Here's the thing. It kind of plays into the same spot where the Jets are. I think the Jets are going to win. I don't think they're going to cover. I think the Lions are going to win. I don't think they're going to cover. And I think that they're in that category of team, right? The teams that blow people out of the water are the Chiefs, are the 49ers, are the Eagles, right? And I think maybe the Jets and the Lions are in that class just below it. But I like Tampa Bay a lot here in this spot. I think they have a shit ton of confidence from week 1. A lot of people, I don't know if it was just the preseason hype with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. That's still a very average football team. And I don't think there should be a crazy overreaction on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but give them 7 points versus the Lions, who give up a lot of points. I love it.
Damn, I hate to burst your bubble and to shit on your parade, but
Give me the numbers that don't go my way.
Some trends are not in favor of Captain George this week.
Ooh.
So the Bucks closed as 4-point favorites against the Commanders. This week, they're 7-point dogs to the Lions. Since 1990, a year before the boy was born, we've only seen 4 teams win by 17 or more points in week 1 and then be dogs in week 2 by 7 or more. The Rams were this last year. Those 4 teams are 1-3 against the spread, 0-4 straight up, losing by almost 18 points a game.
Wow.
And check this one out. Jared Goff. A lot of negative stigma around him his whole career. 12-3 against the number in week 1 and 2 in his careers. The best ATS of any quarterback in the last 20 years. And I believe this game is in Detroit once again.
It'd be interesting to see. Oh, wait, did you say that stat included being an underdog of 7 or more points? It's only happened 17 times? Or is it just underdog the next week?
Just underdog the next week.
See, because I wanted to clarify, because 7 to me is just too much.
Yeah.
Like when you're an underdog in some of those situations, it probably was a lot closer.
Right.
I would imagine. And spreads, like you're talking about, like this team won the division, and that playoff game last year was extremely competitive. It wasn't a blowout. It came down to the last drive. And just like how all Lions games do. So I don't see them covering the spread. That's why I love Tampa. I'm glad you brought that stat up, though. So if I do lose, I could be like, fucking Nick, how to bring up the stat. You ruined it for me.
I'm going to go to my favorite pick of the week. And for me, this one, I said it on Monday, and I'm going to double down on it. It's the Ravens, man. The Ravens now are minus 8.5-point favorites. I thought it was going to go up. It's actually going down, and you have some reverse line movement in this one, right? So you have 72% of the bets are coming in on the Raiders, but more money is coming in on the Ravens, and the line moved down, right? And I think the Ravens just destroy them.
Dog walk them.
Yeah, I'm looking at like a 30-10, 34-14 garbage touchdown. Like they're gonna do. Do you remember the Lions-Ravens game last year in Baltimore where like they beat them by like 4 touchdowns?
Yes.
It was like a 38-7. That's what I kind of think happens here. And again, 72% of the bets are coming in on the Raiders. 78% of the money is coming in on Baltimore. And the line is moving down from 9.5. Now it's 8.5. I just think they have extra time to prepare, does Baltimore. And look, it's going to be a trendy pick in eliminator pools. I think it's the right pick this week, and I'm just leaning towards that, man. I think that they go in there and they beat the shit out the Raiders, who got to travel from LA down to Baltimore.
Yeah, that it's the travel mixed with last week the Raiders got the ball ran all up and down the field, and that was the former Ravens, the J.K. Dobbins, and what's the other back's name for the Chargers?
Gus Edwards.
Gus Edwards, right? They got him in the package deal, and they went wild. I can only imagine when a competent running back, takes on that Raiders defense. Now, here's the thing that I'm somewhat worried about, Nick, with the Ravens, because this was the stigma with King Henry. King Henry doesn't necessarily get going till like mid-October. So should we be worried if Derrick Henry doesn't rush for 100 yards this game? Like, would you be worried if he got 22 carries and 100 yards?
I don't know. I don't think I'd be worried. I think they just need to feed him more. That's all. Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Touches.
You can't split that many touches with Lamar.
Yeah. That's the thing that I'd be worried about. But all right, let's bang through the rest of these. Can I give you my my toxic one? The one I would be careful about.
Hit it.
Eagles -6.5. I think I would just be a little cautious. Monday Night Football. The line moved 3 points from -3.5 to 6.5 there. I would just be a little careful. I do want to mention this is why no one will remember your name. The play I really like. Bengals +6. I know it's bad in Cincinnati, but man, they always get up for this game against Kansas City. Mahomes is 38-42, 48% career against the number when he's a favorite of more than a field goal. This line is at 6 points. It moved from -3 to -6. Mahomes in games in which the line moves 2 points towards his team is 10-13-2 against the number. And look, man, I don't think the Bengals are going to win this game, though they would definitely be live in like a money line parlay and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But they just play them so well. Every game that they played against each other has been a field goal game. And I'm giving 3 extra points here, and maybe they get T. Higgins back. And Jamar Chase, he's going to be in the anytime TD parlay that we got.
100%.
He just shows up in this game, man. So I think that's the one that I'm looking at with the Bengals. I'm not playing Kansas City in this spot. Put it to you this way.
Yeah.
I'm playing Cincinnati only. And then the last one in this economy, it's the Cowboys -6.5. I love it. Now, this would be a spot.
That was my best pick of the week.
Right. So that would be a spot, and I'll let you elaborate more. But the reason why I like that one is because both teams are coming off monster wins. If it was the Cowboys coming off a monster win and then the Saints would have lost that game, I'd feel very different. But the fact that both won, I like it. And they're at home. It's the home opener for Dallas. -6.5, I think. This might be an alt spread kind of parlay weekend for me.
Yeah, start looking for some
like a -9.5.
That I know you got to get creative because
-13.5 Baltimore.
The first week of the NFL, you never think like, all right, you're afraid to put in big money on where the blowouts are going to come from. I mean, I guess we could have all thought the Panthers were going to suck. That would have made sense to me. Where was I going with this? Oh, last week, Derek Carr was hit one time.
Yeah.
How many times does Micah Parsons smack Derek Carr?
One time on the first drive.
I think
3 and out.
I think Derek Carr gets sacked up to 5 times this game. We'll see how good the offensive line is. And they better not miss their big-time shot plays to Rashid Shaheed, which were good for about 2 to 3 of those a game. If we miss all of those, the Saints will lose by 20 points. Like, no exaggeration. This Cowboys team is maybe they're in that category that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We're teams that can honestly blow the brakes off of people.
Can we do let's start doing this every week. Give me 2 guys you got scoring a touchdown this week.
Give me Mike Evans.
Okay.
Give me Ezekiel Elliott.
Ooh, Zeke and Mike Evans. I'm going to go Jamar Chase and Travis Kelce.
All right, we got to put it in.
So we're going to do a 4-leg parlay. Every week we're going to do this. There'll be a graphic. Shout out to the guy that made the graphics last week. They got a lot of good feedback on those. Yeah, great graphics guy we got, a.k.a. me.
He was doing it.
Adding more to the repertoire.
He was doing it on the phone.
All right, just quick little rundown. I like the Jets minus 3.5. I like the Panthers plus 6.5. I like the Cowboys minus 6.5. I'm worried about the Eagles minus 6.5. And I like the Bengals plus 6 in this economy. Those are my picks. What do you got?
I got the Chargers versus Panthers under 39 points. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting 7 points versus the Lions. I got the Cowboys minus 6.5 versus the Saints. The toxic one to watch out for is definitely the Eagles, like Nick said. And then in this economy, I like the Rams money line.
Ooh.
And I know I was kind of taking it like in this economy, like you're not going to luck out on the Rams being underdogs like this. I'm trying to, oh my gosh. Hold on one sec here. Yeah, bro, against the Cardinals. And you didn't let me go on my Marvin Harrison rant, so maybe I'm just going to tease the people with this. Go on TikTok and watch why Marvin Harrison wasn't good week 1. And Nick, it's going to disappoint you because I think he might have been the bust of the draft.
Wow.
Yeah. And we'll just...
I hope not, because he's in the offensive rookie of the year parlay.
I know, but Nick, he's moving slow.
Yeah.
You know, there's D1 speed and then there's NFL speed. I think we thought that there would be that correlation.
I'm gonna end the show with this. If it turns out that he is not what we thought he would be, no more using the term generational talent. It's done. for anything. We can't do it. Nah, because he was a generational talent. So was Saquon Barkley, though this year it is generational. There you have it, guys. Thank you for listening. All things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. At Nick Dais 10ers, you can find me. Rate, review, subscribe, tag, share, Patreon, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Oh my, we're everywhere. Find us. At Nick Dais 10ers, you can find me. George?
At Mr. George Carmona. We look forward to seeing you next week, yeah?
Oh yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.